Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Fate Stay Night. I have, in true Zach fashion, I have literally just gotten out of bed and need to leave in 3 hours for class, not for work yet. With that being said, let us continue with the rest of this day. It's a quiet, windless night. It's past midnight. Darkness blankets the sky. Sorry about that. I was opening my drink. Another feature of Zach mornings, immediately getting a drink to wake up. The town itself is like a dark sea illuminated only by moonlight. Overhead the clouds move across the sky. At ground level there's not a breath of wind. Higher up the air must be roaring as the clouds swim by. Maybe she hears the inaudible wind. She mutters quietly. She looks up into the windy sky. The young girl known as Saber stands quietly in the middle of the yard, glaring up at the sky. Her golden hair is just beautiful even in the dark of the night. Her clear green eyes remain on the moon as it flickers in and out of view. She glances towards the corner of the yard. There is an old shed. Her lord sleeps here. There is a heavy clang. The sound of iron melts into the darkness without reaching anyone's ears. The moon hides, then reveals itself once again as the clouds above float past. The girl's appearance changes radically. Solid, heavy armor. She can no longer be called a girl in her blue raiment. Now she is shrouded in steely armor, woven with magical energy intense enough that it would overwhelm all others. In her hand, she holds an invisible sword concealed by the same magical energy that surpasses human understanding. The figure, once considered undefeatable on the battlefield, proves that someone like her still exists in this day and age. Although her sword is invisible, the majestic air she exudes proves her exceptional skill as a swordsman. This is what has made her Saber, the hero of the sword, said to be the strongest of all the seven servants. A knight among knights who remains ever civil and acts according to her lord's will. Whatever the other heroic spirits may be like, she remains the ideal swordsman who would never defy her lord. But that ends tonight. She is here defying her lord's orders. Rather, she is not truly disobeying her lord. This is her way of bringing her lord victory, the result of her own determination. But this master will never change his ways, then it must be her duty to be heartless. If her master will not fight, then his sword must. But that still poses no hindrance in battle. After confirming her own ability, she returns her gaze to the moon. She has no concern for the shed where her lord sleeps any longer. Now that she is armed and wearing her armor, the only thing on her mind is defeating her enemies. The moon darkens. The moment a large cloud covers the sky, Saber jumps over the walls of the mansion grounds. She runs through the darkness. The silvery swordsman rushes through the sleeping town. She has but one destination, Ryudo Temple, sitting at the heart of the sacred mountain on the town's outskirts. Even Saber understands how difficult it will be to single-handedly defeat the master lurking in the temple. Shirou is correct. She is bound to suffer great injury, at worst die herself. But how can she call herself a servant if she cannot do the impossible? Servants are driven by the superior abilities and unassailable pride. They are proud as heroes and have earned that confidence in the numerous battles they fought. As heroic spirits whose lore has been passed down respected since ancient times, they cannot lose no matter who they face. She cannot even imagine defeat. She is no exception, however much of her innocence may still be left to her. Being granted the title of Saber is all the more reason she cannot ignore that pride, and that pride will not allow her to just sit by and do nothing when she can face her enemy. And so she must brave any traps that may await her and face her enemy even if she is alone. If she has no chance of winning, then she must simply use her sword to create one. Her sword is a celebrated blade. It has cut countless enemies down. As long as she is in visible air, there is nothing for her to fear. She runs through the mountain pass and up the road leading to the temple. After she cuts through the mountain pass, an imposing stone staircase awaits her. It is certainly different than the Ryudo temple she remembers. The air is stagnant, the wind is barren, the land's lifeline was contaminated long ago. This place is a land of death. The moment one enters, there can be no escape. She does not hesitate. Saber does not so much as break stride as she runs up the steps. Scenery flies by, her footsteps echo on the stone stairs, and the mountain begins to stir. The stairs are long, stretching across a great distance. The temple gates are far, even for Saber, who shoots up the stairs like an arrow. So long are the stairs that it is impossible for one to pass through the gate undetected. An ambush surely awaits along the way. Reaching the gate will not be easy. Whatever schemes may await her, she must simply smash through them and keep moving. Nothing will stop her. Even were Berserker to appear before her, she would break through. Such is her determination, her confidence. She's reached the top. Just as she is about to reach the temple gates, the obstacle presents itself. Saber stops. Despite her determination to push through no matter what enemy she faces, she is surprised by what she finds. It appears so naturally like a breeze. The man appears before her, lacking any trace of enmity, but leaves not a single opening for an attack. Saber stops and readies her invisible sword. The man before her, backlit by the moon, ignores Saber's menacing glare as if it were nothing to him.
Samurai ka.
She has heard about them, but she is bewildered by the sight of one. This is her second Holy Grail war. Even though she has seen many other heroic spirits, this is her first time seeing a servant like him. Sweat beads on Saber's brow. She isn't afraid, rather she is struggling to comprehend the situation. It is not as if she has never encountered strange servants. Certainly there was no stranger and more mysterious servant than the Archer of the previous war. By comparison, the servant before her is hardly frightening and possesses no incredible weaponry. And that is exactly what makes it strange. She senses nothing from the man. There is no doubt he is a servant, but he seems to possess neither a noble phantasm nor magical energy. He should be an easy foe. Their fight should end in a single blow. But her instincts give her one very simple warning. Don't underestimate him. The servant has the means of inflicting instant death. She can't get closer. His katana is unconventionally long for a Japanese sword, making it hard to gauge spacing, but more than that, Saber's position puts her at a huge disadvantage. The man stands at the top of the stairs and Saber stands below him. He's about 5 meters from her. His sword will reach her before she can rush him, but she feels nothing from his sword. Repelling it should be easy. She should not be afraid to step in, but Saber senses somehow that she should not. Saber adjusts her grip on her sword and glares at the enemy ahead of her. She may not know his identity, but she should at least be able to determine his class. Saber doesn't expect an answer. After a brief smile, the servant's reply is given in a sing-song voice. Saber cannot help but be surprised. Servants generally conceal their identities. What sort of servant would so bluntly and proudly give his name?
何をとは無粋だな。立ち会いの前に名を明かすのは当然であろう。それがそなたのように見目麗しい相手ならばなおのこと。だというのに、そのような顔をされるとは心外であった。
The man who introduced himself as Shirou Sasaki, the assassin, appears to enjoy Saber's confusion. There is no way Saber knows. She has no idea that the servant is a swordsman who wields a long sword called Monoho Shizao, and was rumored to have been an unrivaled swordsman during the Keishu era of Japan. Knowing, of course, would change nothing. The man's origin is unknown, and even his existence is uncertain. His story was told only by word of mouth, and there's perhaps only one person in the world who knows the true identity of the man who was hailed as the greatest swordsman in the world. The man who never left a mark in history, but was Shirou Sasaki's archenemy and the only one to have ever defeated him. So how can this man be called a hero? The assassin, Shirou Sasaki, is a presence far removed from Saber herself. Who among heroic spirits could know the abilities of a swordsman who could not himself normally be a heroic spirit? Two things are clear to her before her. One is that the man before her is an enemy, and the other is that he willingly identified himself.
名乗られたからにはこちらも名乗り返すのは騎士の礼です。
Saber's voice is grave. Revealing her true name poses an immense risk. She cannot reveal her true name even under torture, nor does she have any intention of doing so. However, this is only in the name of her pursuit of victory. For this same reason, she cannot tarnish her knight's honor.
小次郎と言いましたね。アサシンのサーバントよ。私は。
よい。名乗れば名乗り返さねばならぬ相手であったか。いや、無粋な真似をしたのは私であった。
The man descends the stairs gracefully. Assassin confronts Saber, taking slow steps down the stairs.
そのようなことで敵を知ろうとは思わぬ。我らにとって敵を知るにはこの刀だけで十分であろう。違うか、セイバーのサーバントよ。そう驚くこともあるまい。貴様の持つそれが何であるかは分からぬが、身にまとった殺気は剣士のもの。目がくらむほどの美しい剣気。その貴様がセイバー以外の何者であろうか。
He takes a step closer. Assassin descends the stone steps and he points his sword at Saber.
神名など知らずともよい。ただ、セイバーというサーバントがこの刃に敗れるだけの話だ。言葉で語るべきことなど皆無。もとより、サーバントとはそういうものであろ
う。The swordsman laughs joyfully.
なるほど。それは確かにその通りです。
As Saber speaks, she readies her sword.
それでよい。では、果たし合おうぞ、セイバー。サーバント随一と言われるその剣にしかと見せてもらわねばな。
A silver light leaps solid and soft. The battle between two very different swordsmen begins under the moonlight. I wake up to a searing pain in my chest. It feels like I've just had a bad dream. Why does my chest hurt? My heart feels like it's burning. Actually, it feels more heat from outside has been forced into my body. From outside, I doubt myself briefly, but before I can think of what it might be, I find myself rushing outside. Saber, are you here? I open the sliding screen door to Saber's room. She's not here. Don't tell me. She's just no doubt. If she's not here, she went to Ryudo Temple on her own. Why? That idiot. Why? She hasn't here. Why would she? I'm so angry. My head is starting to hurt. I didn't tell her I wasn't going to fight. I just don't want her to get hurt like that again. There's no point in fuming here. I need to hurry to Ryudo Temple. I can't let Saber fight alone. Well, I don't know what good I can do her, but if I get there, maybe I can do something. Why can't I just paper? I run. I don't even take time to change. Out front, I grab a bike and pedal as fast as I can. I pedal down the hill without braking. I'll take at least 40 minutes to Ryudo Temple, even if I rush. I don't know how long it's been since Saber left, but I need to get to her as fast as I can. The blades cross, the edges of both swords come into contact again and again. Stroke after stroke, sword and katana alike sparks their strike and parry. Several dozen exchanges like this later, and neither opponent has changed position. Assassin standing higher on the steps holds his ground. Saber, who is trying to advance up the stone steps, can't get any closer to Assassin. Over time, he bleeds more and more energy. One of Saber's many attempts at rushing in, Assassin effortlessly swings his long blade fully a meter and a half and halts Saber's advance. No, he's not simply preventing an advance. If Saber's blade is lightning, Assassin's katana is a hurricane. Though Assassin may be no match for her in strength and speed, the flexible trajectory of his blade sweeps aside Saber's every attack. The ricocheting katana gains speed and flips back towards Saber's neck like a gust of wind. Even as Saber dodges the blow by only a hairbreadth, the long katana flicks back toward her, giving her not a moment's rest. In contrast to Saber's straight sword, Assassin's blade is curved. Assassin's cutting edge is graceful, but it draws a long, extended arc. You shouldn't be able to match Saber's sword as it moves in a straight line, but somehow cancels out that difference. She suddenly stops. Her blade isn't moving fast, beating up to block Assassin's counterattack. She falls back, face knowing it's the only way she can avoid the incoming strike. Assassin's katana traces a fascinatingly beautiful arc, but at the same time it is also so fast that it's nearly impossible to follow. Is this seeming impossibility owed to Assassin's skill, or is it owed instead to Saber being in a disadvantageous position in their battle? Unable to reach a clear conclusion, Saber continues dodging Assassin's strikes and turns aside the blade as she arcs toward her neck with her own weapon. The next thing she knows, she is retreating a few more steps down the stairs. That is the extent of his long katana's reach. It would be easy to rush up close to him once she sweeps his sword aside, but for some reason she just can't do it. It must be owed to the enemy's superb skills in her own position below him, which puts her at a disadvantage. Saber bites her lip, thinking she won't have such a hard time against that long katana if they were on flat ground.
さすがにやりにくいな。見えない剣というものがこれほど厄介とは思わなんだ。
Assassin is unmoved. He is fighting purely to defend. He need not chase after a retreating Saber, nor does he have any reason to give up the advantage of higher ground.
見れば刀を見ることさえ初めてであろう。私の剣筋は邪道でな。並のものならばまず一撃で首を落とす。それをここまで防ぐとは嬉しいぞ、セイバー。加えて打ち込みも素晴らしい。その勝負でこれほどの剣撃を行うからにはさぞ鍛え抜かれた全身であろう。
Assassin watches Saber, his posture relaxed, perhaps simply because he begins to go on the offensive. The tip of his blade wavers, losing strength, but Saber cannot seize the opportunity. The man is not holding a stance. A long katana like that can only be wielded as long as the wielder is able to swing the sword from any position.
どうした？これで終わりというわけではあるまい。その不可視の剣、見かけ倒しではなかろうに。
いつまでも減らず口を。
The sword and katana
よ
cry.
し、当たりだ。
The long sword stops mid-swing. Assassin grins, glancing at his katana where it stopped the invisible sword and parries again. While Saber catches the flash coming at her neck. Even Saber knows she's been able to block Assassin's unfamiliar swordwork thanks to invisible sword. Her invisible sword can confuse the opponent's senses both offensively and defensively. Assassin not following through on his attacks is proof of this. And not knowing how long Saber's sword is makes it too dangerous for Assassin to close in on her. If Assassin were to step in to attack Saber, he will do so when Saber tries to smash Assassin's forehead. That attack. Assassin dodges it completely as he takes just a step back.
よし、これで目測はついたな。刀身3尺余り、幅は4寸といったところか。形状は、セイバーの名の通り、典型的な西洋の剣だな。
Assassin may have spoken calmly, but his exceptional skill at appraising the blade is clear. Saber's strike had been so fast that even if were her sword visible, it would have been almost impossible to see. And yet, not only has he managed to defend himself from the invisible blade, he's also figured out its shape and size.
信じられない。何の魔術も使わず、満足に打ち合ってもいないというのに、私の剣を測ったのですか、あなたは。
ほう、驚いたか。だが こんなものは大道芸であろうよ。邪剣使いゆえ、このような技ばかり上手くなる。
なるほど。私の一撃をまともに受けず、ただ払うだけがあなたの戦いだった。邪剣使いとはその逃げ腰から来た俗称ですか？
いやいや、まともに打ち合わぬ無礼は許せ。何しろこの長刀だ。打ち合えば折れるは必定。お主としては力勝負こそが基本なのだろうが、こちらはそうはいかぬ。その剣と組み合い、力を競い合うことはできん。もとより、刀というものはそういうものだ。西洋の剣はその重さと力で物を叩き切る。だが、我らの刀は速さと技で物を断ち切るのだ。戦いが噛み合わぬのは道理であろう。まあしかし、これではいささか興がそがれる。もう良い頃合いだぞ、セイバー。いい加減手の内を隠すのはやめにしろ。
アサシン、私があなたに手加減しているとでも？
していないとでも言うのか。何のつもりかは知らんが、剣を鞘に収めたまま戦とは舐められたものだ。私程度では本気を出すまでもないということか。ほう、それでも応じないという顔だな。よかろう。ならばここまでだ。お前が出し惜しみをするのなら、先に我が秘剣をお見せしよう。
And with that, the swordsman with the long katana drifts down next to Saber. For an assassin to give up his advantageous position is as good as inviting defeat. He may be a superb swordsman, but it is the landscape of their battleground that gave him the advantage. If the two are to fight on level ground, Saber should have no trouble repelling Assassin's attack and taking his head then and there. Assassin should know this as well. So why?
構えよ。でなければ死ぬぞ、セイバー。
Saber instinctively reacts to the smoothness in his voice, for he is speaking the truth. Assassin descending the steps does not put her in an advantageous position. Her intuition, which has enabled her to triumph in so many battles, warns her of her mistake. She readies her invisible sword. There's no need to hesitate. What matters is that she has to attack with her sword before Assassin swings his long katana. Roughly 3 meters separates the two. He readies himself. The stance he takes now is one he has not taken in their battle so far. Saber charges. The long katana is meaningless now. The moment he draws near Assassin, the katana will become a liability to him, and yet such logic means little to a swordsman like him. Lightning strikes faster even than Saber's blade. The demonic blow strikes down in a single straight line. But it's not as if Saber cannot block such an attack. She quickly raises her sword to defend, repelling Assassin's attack. Even Assassin will be left open after an attack like that is turned aside. In that split-second interval, Saber attempts to cut through Assassin's stomach. Swiftly trusting in her instincts, Saber rolls down the stone steps. She rolls away as if she's fleeing. She makes no effort to even soften her landing. All Saber does is frantically hurl herself down the stairs, flowing for nothing. Saber stops rolling and gets to her feet. Above her on the stairs, she sees the swordsman standing at his ease.
ほう、かわしたか、我が秘剣。さすがはセイバー。ツバメなどとは格が違う。
信じられない。今のはまさか。
何、そう大した芸ではない。たまさかツバメを切ろうと思いつき、身についただけのものだからな。
He raises his long katana up high. The motion is done as if to mimic the demonic sword's motions he demonstrated earlier to intimidate Saber.
見えるか、セイバー。ツバメはな、風を受けて刀を避ける。早かろうが遅かろうが関係はない。どのような刀であろうと、大気を震わさずには触れぬであろう。連中はその震えを感じ取り、飛ぶ方向を変えるのだ。故にどのような一撃であれ、ツバメを立つことはできなかった。所詮刀など一本線に過ぎぬ。縦横に空を行くツバメを捉えられぬは道理よな。ならば逃げ道を囲めばいいだけのこと。一の太刀でツバメを襲い、風を読んで避けるツバメの逃げ道を続く二の太刀で取り囲む。しかし連中は素早くてな。この長刀ではまず二の太刀が間に合わん。ことを成したければ一息のうちほぼ同時に行わなければならなかったが、そのような真似は人の技ではない。叶うことなどあるまいと承知したものだが、あいにくと他にやることもなかったのでな。一年寄進に通じるというが、気がつけばこの通りよ。ツバメを立つというくだらぬ思いつきは、複数の立ち筋で牢獄を作り上げる秘剣となった。
Saber cannot help but disagree with his matter-of-fact narrative. It is untrue. His technique is not as simple as he claims. Execute two attacks simultaneously. Impossible. The two blades struck at exactly the same time. In that moment, there existed two separate katana.
奇襲はゼルレッジ。何の魔術も使わず、ただ剣技だけで宝具の域に達したサーバント。
It is most certainly to be admired. That single blow made it very clear. Kojiro Sasaki does not possess a noble phantasm as his heroic spirits typically do. All he has is his magical sword and its sheer power reaching the realm of the gods. What's astonishing is that this man, a mere human, has managed to stand on equal ground with a heroic spirit who possesses a noble phantasm.
だが足場が悪かったな。ツバメ返しの奇跡は本来3つ。もうわずかに広ければ横の一撃も加えられたのだが。
そうでしょうね。そうでなければ不完全です。全てが同時であるならニノたちはどうしても遅くなる。それを補うために横方向への離脱を阻む3の太刀があるはずだ。
いい飲み込みの速さだ。だからこそ我が秘剣をかわしたか。素晴らしいぞセイバー。このような属性に呼び出された我が身を呪ったが、それも今宵まで生前では叶わなかった立ち会い。我が秘剣を存分に振る舞える殺し合いができるのならば、呼び出された甲斐があるというもの。
Assassin readies his sword again and descends the stone steps. He must be after Saber's head. Saber is not confident if she will be able to dodge this secret technique again. Like Lance's Gaibul, Assassin's Swallow Reversal is a technique that one cannot allow the wielder to use, except unlike Gaibul, against which one can defend once they understand what it is and know that it will strike at the heart. There is no defense against Assassin's secret technique. It cannot be evaded even when one knows what it is. If there is a defense, it lies in preventing him from using the attack. The only way to defeat him is to deliver a devastating blow before Assassin can unleash his secret technique.
なるほど。確かに手加減など許される相手ではなかったようだ。
She lowers both her hands. Saber drops the tip of her invisible sword as if driving it into the ground and glares up at Assassin as he approaches.
そうか。 ようやくその気になったか、セイバー。
Assassin stops descending the steps and readies his secret technique once more. Saber looks at him bravely.
不満がないのはこちらも同じだ。我が一撃受けきれるか、アサシンのサーバント。
Saber releases her under strength. The air trembles. As if responding to her will, his sword releases a torrential gust of wind. Assassin retreats several steps. The gale force winds released from Saber's sword are extraordinary. Even the thick trees on either side of the temple gates creak and groan. So strong is the wind, it all but explodes outward from her blade. The atmosphere sealed within is released and roars outward in all directions. Saber's sword releases a gust of wind that could easily carry off a given being. This is her blade's power. The invisible air is, as the name implies, a sword that has sealed up wind. The sword, sheathed in compressed wind, reflects or flax light to give it the appearance of being visible. This is what happens when the wind is released. The released air seeks escape and dissipates into its surroundings in chaotic gusts. During that time, her sword's commanding matriarch allows her to freely manipulate the raging wind. As Saber possesses incredible amounts of magical energy, she should be able to maintain the bounded field for a few minutes. The truth of this is made apparent by the fact that her sword, even after releasing so much energy, remains invisible.
さながら台風といったところだが、しかし
Howling winds do not die down. The unleashed winds are about to engulf Assassin.
この程度のはずがない。その奥にあるもの、見せてもらうぞ、セイバー。
Assassin closes in despite the raging, blinding wind. Saber's arm moves, the wind-infused blade roars, readying itself to intercept Assassin who advances calmly, slowly, in spite of the gale force wind strong enough to prevent most people from even approaching. What the hell is that? When I reach Ryodo Temple, I'm greeted by the sound of air rushing at me like a typhoon. That must be Saber over there. At the top of the stairs in front of the temple gates, I see an armored figure who must be Saber fighting someone wearing a kimono. The wind swirls around Saber and the surrounding trees creak under the gale force intensely. Damn, I don't think I can get close. The wind is so intense I can't keep my eyes open. Head down, I manage to fight my way closer to the stairs, but the wind only gets stronger. I can't, at this rate, I can't get closer to Saber. Far ahead I can see Saber fighting someone, but I can't do anything. You know, even if I manage to get closer to Saber in this wind, I'll only hold her back. My left hand hurts again. The command spells engraved on the back of my hands tingle. I don't know what that means, but every time my hand tingles, I can't help but to remember that scene. Damn it, screw this. I close my eyes and stretch my hands toward the stairs. I get down on my hands and knees, hoping to avoid being blown off my feet, and begin crawling up the stairs. The wind intensifies. Even a novice mage like me can tell incredible amounts of magical energy are raging above me. My command spells tingle. The roar of the wind warns me something is happening up above. Could this be Saber's magical energy? If it is, why would she do something so reckless in her state? Now, should she even be doing something like that? Saber can't recover magical energy. She shouldn't be wasting it like this. I need to step in and handle the fight and have Saber support me instead, or else she might run out of magical energy. I stand up and start running up the stairs. Now it's not the time to be crawling. I don't know what Saber has in mind, but I have to stop her. Huh? As I try to dash to the temple gate, something like a dagger flies right by me. I don't know what miracle let me dodge it. Who's there? I turn to look away from the stairs into the trees. There's no doubt about it. I didn't notice in this encouragement, but there's someone hiding nearby. You coward! Quit hiding and come out! I shout for whoever's hiding in the tree line. The strong wind should have drowned my voice out. To my surprise, my voice echoes up the stairs. The wind died down? I look up towards the temple gate. There, I see a man in a kimono wielding a long sword and Saber's back.
そこまでにしておけ、セイバー。その秘剣、盗み見ようとする輩がいる。
The man in the kimono smiles as he speaks. Like me, he's staring out into the
このま
forest.
ま続ければ、我らだけの勝負にはなるまい。 生き残った者にそこに潜んだ恥知らずが襲いかかるか、それともお前の被験を盗み見るだけが目的なのか。どちらにせよあまり気乗りのする話ではないな。
待
The
て、
man turns to climb the
決
stairs,
着をつけないつもりか、アサシン。
seeming totally
お前
disinterested.
がこの三門を越えるというのであらば決着はつけよう。何者であれこの門をくぐることは私が許さん。だがあいにくと私の役目はそれだけでな。帰るというのであらば止める気はない。まあそこに隠れているたわけは別だが、気に入らぬ相手であれば死んでも通さんし、生きても返さん。
Assassin continues up the stairs.
踊らされたな、セイバー。だが、もう一人の気配に気がつかなかった私も同じだ。あのままでおけば被験のすべてを味わえたであろうが、良いところで邪魔が入った。そなたにとっては良好であったか。
Saber hangs her head in regret. Her intent to kill fades, not because of Assassin's Work, but because Saber must realize that keeping up the fight would leave her at a disadvantage.
そら、迎えも来ている。そこにいる小僧はお前のマスターであろう。盗み見をするたわけが、その小僧に標的を変える前に立ち去るがいい。
And just like that, Assassin disappears. It must have been his way of telling us that he won't attack unless we keep going. Saber says nothing. She just stands there silently, her back to me. Hey, Saber? Even when I call to her, she doesn't answer. It seems strange, so I begin climbing the steps. Saber's armor vanishes. Defenseless and in her simple blue clothing, she sways on the spot without turning around. I catch Saber in my arms as she falls backwards down the stairs. She doesn't move a muscle. She's unconscious, eyes shut in pain. We finally get home. It took me 2 hours to carry Saber back from the Yudo temple. I was worried about the whole return trip, but we managed to get back safely. I laid Saber down in the hallway. Saber was really light. She probably only weighs about 40 kilos, so it really shouldn't have tired me out so much. Or it wouldn't have if she'd been still. I had no idea that carrying a sleeping person, even a girl, could be so much work. My fatigue is more mental than physical. The feel of her soft skin when I picked her up, her quiet breathing on me, it was all so distracting. Why'd she just faint like that? I look at Saber as she lays there sleeping. She's probably not completely unconscious. Even if she looks like she's out cold, she might open her eyes the moment I call her name. Damn. There's so much I wanted to tell her when I left the house, but I can't say anything with her sleeping, looking like that. Fine, I'll give you an earful after you wake up, Saber. Even now, I keep my voice to a whisper. The moment I reach out to pick her
まあ
up
いいけ
again.
ど、シローがどんな趣味してて何をしてるかなんて私には関係ないから。
For some reason, Tasaka's in the hallway watching even though it's after 2 in the morning. Tasaka!
何よ、お化けでも見たような顔しちゃって。別に文句はないから続けていいわよ。私は水飲みに起きただけだし。
You got all wrong. So what do you think, really? I mean, it's a long story, but the short version of us is trying to take Saber back to her. Are you even listening to me?
ええ、まあそれなりに。
You're lying. You sound like you don't understand at all.
だから分かってるってば。セーバーが一人で戦いに行って、シローはそれを止めてきたんでしょ。で、何らかのトラブルがあってセーバーが気絶して戻ってきた。どう？これでいい？
Yeah, it's amazing. That's exactly what happened, but how did you know?
わかるわよ。セーバーが単独で戦いを仕掛ける可能性は高かったし、サーバントが戦いを始めればマスターにだって伝わるわ。だからこういう展開も十分予測範囲なわけ。
Something I would have liked to know yesterday. I see. I guess that's fine then. So Tasaka knew Saber would go out by herself.
で、どうするの？
セイバーを部屋に連れて行くんじゃないの？ここに寝かしてたらいくらサーバントでも風邪ひくと思うけど。
Well, yeah, that's why I was gonna take her to her room. I tried to lift her up, but it's kind of awkward with Tasaki watching. Tasaki, would you mind carrying Saber?
私が？もういいけど。じゃあお茶でも入れてくれる？少し二人の話に興味があるから。
Sorry. Tasaka picks Saber up. Her being so understanding has me a little worried, but since I asked her for a favor, I better go make some tea. Tasaka carries Saber off toward my room. Meanwhile, I work on preparing tea in the kitchen. She said tea, but I'm assuming she doesn't want green tea. But the only black tea I have is from tea bags. Well, if I don't have it, I don't have it. I tell myself she can complain all she wants and start pouring the hot water over it.
シロ、ちょっといい？
Tasaka comes back. Yeah, hold on, man. I'll be right there. I put 2 teacups on the tray and carry out to the living room, and there, sitting next to Tasaka, is Saber in her normal clothes. But I thought you were asleep.
眠ってたわよ。けど、そういつまでも続く眠りじゃないし、ついさっき目が覚めたの。どうも一気に膨大な魔力を使おうとして体の方から一方的に機能を停止させられたみたいね。ほら、電気のブレーカーと同じよ。そのままじゃショートするから強制的に電源を切るってやつ。
Saber's quiet as Tasaka explains. Seeing her back to your usual self, all the frustrations I had earlier come rushing back. Saber, do you have any idea what you tried to do?
わからないわけはないでしょう。私は竜道寺に赴き、アサシンのサーバントと戦いました。その折、私たちの戦いを監視していた第3のサーバントに気がつき、戦いを中断しましたが。
It's not my plan, but I want to know why you went and fought.
またそれですか。サーバントが戦うのは当然のことです。シローこそ、マスターであるあなたが、なぜ私に戦うなというのです。
Well, I do understand that there's no way around fighting since I decided to participate in the Holy Grail War, and I know that me telling Saber not to fight is me contradicting myself, but even so... I don't want to see something like that happen to her ever again.
私の方こそ聞きたい。シローは戦いを嫌っているようですが、そんなことで聖杯戦争に生き残る気があるのかと。あなたの方針に従っていては他のマスターに倒されるだけではないのですか。
It's not like that. I fight off anything that might pose a risk to us. I certainly don't intend to just let myself be killed so easily, but aside from that, I just don't want to see her. It's not that I dislike fighting, it's much simpler than that. No, I refuse to read that because I simply just fucking disagree with that. Because it's clearly not true.
私が女だから戦わせないだと。
She's upset.
正気ですかあなたは。サーバントはマスターを守るものです。私たちが傷つくのは当然であり、私たちはそのために呼び出されたものに過ぎない。
Shirou, master of casual misogyny. This is why we think through things before we say them.
サーバントに性別など関係ないし、そもそも無人である私を女扱いするつもりですか。今の言葉は訂正してください、シロー。
Saber leans toward me, her eyes blazing with fear, but I won't let her change my mind. What? It's absurd for her to say she's worried before. How could something so frail light enough for me to carry easily go and behave so that... Christ. Absolute Jesus fuck moment. This is just so Shirou, 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 Shirou. No!
つまらないことにこだわっているのはあなたではないですか。まさか女性に守護されるのが嫌だとでも言うつもりですか。この身はすでに英霊、そのようなさまつごとなど忘れなさい。
It's not trivial at all. Even if you don't think it's important, I do. Besides, it's safe when you can have someone else try to be. Oh, in addition to the casual misogyny, he's a self-sacrificing idiot. I can't allow someone to protect someone as helpless as me. I don't want someone to get hurt in my place. I'm the one who should be doing the saving. Working hard to become the kind of person who can help people.
無茶を言う人ですね、あなたは。人間がサーバントと戦えると思っているのですか。シロウでは戦いにすらならないと実感しているでしょう。
Shirou, you truly have a way with words. This is impressive. I don't know how you managed to accomplish this one. Just how?
ランサーに襲われた時を思い出してください。あの時私が現れなければ間違いなくシロウは殺されていた。それはどのようなサーバントが相手でも同じです。
You can't know that for sure unless we try. I just wasn't prepared, but now I can come up with tons of strategies. I might even be able to ambush.
少子な。シロウの立てた守りなど神も同然です。
He defended himself with a sheet of paper. But I can't believe you said that.
あなたこそサーバントを侮っている。人の身で英霊を打倒しようなどと何を思い上がっているのですか。
Saber and I glare at each other. Our conversation is going nowhere, and there's no sign of reaching any kind of compromise.
違うわセイバー。シロウはサーバントを侮っているわけじゃない。そのあたりを誤解しちゃうと話が進まないから口を挟ませてもらうけど。
リン、それはどういうことですか。
要するにね、そいつ純粋にあなたが傷を負うのを嫌がってるのよ。どうしてか知らないけどシロウは献身と善意の塊だものね。自分のことよりセイバーの方が大切なんでしょ、あんたは。
That's not true. I never said that.
嘘嘘。そうでもなければ自分で戦うなんて言えないわ。だってあなた自分じゃサーバントに勝てないって分かってるんでしょ。それでも戦うっていうのは自分よりセーバーのが大事ってことじゃない。
I mean, if she puts it like that, maybe, but...
だから無茶でも戦う。勝てないって分かっていながら勝とうとする。その結果が自分の死でも構わない。なぜならあんたの中ではどうしてか知らないけど自分より他人の方が大切だからよ。
Well, I don't mean it to be like that.
そういうことよ。わかるでしょセイバー。あのバーサーカー相手にあなたをかばうようなバカなのよそいつ。だから本気で自分が戦うって言ってるの。
Absolute mental dissection. Get owned. I don't know. I don't know how much talk is worth to actually make it through to Saber, but Saber takes a deep breath and turns to him.
シロウ、 あなたが戦うことは認めます。ですがそれならば私にも考えがある。
What is it?
剣の鍛錬です。シロウの時間が許す限り私はあなたに剣を教える。それを認めるのなら私もシロウの意見を認めますが。
What? Does that mean she's gonna train me? Is this because she's acknowledged my will to fight?
待った。それは心の贅肉よセイバー。シロウに剣を教える？やめてよ。そんな気休めでサーバントに太刀打ちできるわけないじゃない。
それは当然です。ですが知らないよりはマシでしょう。少なくとも戦闘時の迷いは薄れます。あとはシロー本人の決意にかけるだけですが、実践とは得てしてそういうものではないですか。向かないものには。
まあ言われてみればそっか。殴り合う覚悟ってのは一度殴り合ってみないと一生つかないものね。
はい。ですから一度、いえ、一度と言わず時間の許す限り、シローには戦闘の結果としての死を体験させ、戦いに慣れてもらわなければ。
The two of them are talking pretty casually about some scary stuff. Oh man, I never agree to.
じゃあ私は魔術講座にしとく。
Oh, Shirou.
セイバーが体を鍛えるんなら、私は知識を育てるわね。まあ初めからそういう約束だったし、明日から本格的に鍛え直してやりますか。
お願いします。リンがそうしてくれるなら、私も剣のみに集中できる。
いいっていいって。じゃあ話も決まったことだし解散しましょう。明日はいろいろと忙しそうだから。
At this point, the only thing going through my mind right now is get loved and cherished, idiot. Saka waves goodbye and disappears into the outbuilding.
私も休みます。シローも休憩を取ってください。明日は道場で汗を流してもらいますから。
Work you hard. She gives a short bow and goes back to her room. All that remains in the living room is 2 cups of untouched tea and 1 dumbfounded boy. I never agreed to any of this. My words go unheard. Anyway, it was already a confusing situation. It's grown a hell of a lot more complicated. I can't even begin to imagine what will happen today. I'm going to sleep. I should at least save my energy. Everything starts with the body. No, yeah, the only thing I can do is cling onto my fragile hope that as long as my body is strong enough, I will be able to endure whatever torture they might throw at me. And with that being said, I will save... And with that being said, I will end today's video here, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.